Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC, and we're back out with a pretty dang exciting product. To be honest with you, I've been following RC Discharger for years because those of you that do some pretty serious racing, either in spec classes or even 8 scale, 10 scale, whatever, are probably familiar with RC Discharger. So battery technology, especially in spec classes, is pretty much one area where I'd say the pros or the super serious high-level racers have an advantage over kind of the regular guys. And discharging has been a way to basically warm up, break in the batteries, get them a little bit heated up so that they are able to charge at higher amperages, actually give you a lot more punch when you're actually driving the car. I've been testing this out, and yeah, definitely noticed a big difference. Even on some older batteries I've had for like several years, you notice a lot more punch, especially jumping out of corners. I would say is where you notice the biggest difference. You get a little bit more top end, in my opinion. It's just flowing current faster, but really exiting corners, getting on the throttle, it's almost like, you know, if your punch goes up to 9, now it goes up to like 11 or something like that. It's kind of crazy. Certainly is much more useful in the first few laps where you notice the biggest difference, but I think throughout the course of the race, 5-6 minutes, whatever you're actually racing, you'll notice a difference. So what RC Discharger has been making through the years is basically a discharger to allow you to use an eye charger to charge on one side, discharge to the other side through a resistor bank. That allows you to discharge at high amperages, typically like 40 amps or so. But with the RC Discharger, they've got a new product, which is a regenerative discharger. So a lot different than the traditional dischargers, which is just a bunch of resistor banks, fans, stuff like that to allow you to discharge, turn all that electricity into heat. But with the regenerative discharger, you actually are able to power cycle the battery. So you're basically cycling it by discharging it, and then it goes back into the battery through the use of a giant LiPo. So it's actually got a 6S LiPo here attached to it. It's got a power supply, some intelligence electronics and stuff like that, and it actually just plugs straight into your eye charger through this large ECA connector. Now they do make a couple of different versions. They make a 2S version. This is the big boy, the 4S version, so really for 4S LiPos like A scale, that kind of thing. I think they're also working on a 6S version as well. So if you're drag racing on 6S or something, that might be useful, but I got the 4S and we're going to talk about this a bit. Some things to note. Definitely, this sells for $400 for the 4S version, $330 for the 2S version, which has couple different stand options, different color options, that kind of thing. But I've got the red, and I've got my iCharger 406 Duo. So you definitely, want a iCharger. I think it also supports other charger types, but I've got a 406 Duo. This is a little bit of an older model. They make a 456 Duo now, which has higher balancing current rates and stuff like that. So this is a little bit older, but it'll work with this. Definitely want to update your iCharger to the latest firmware. I found the easiest way is to get a smart card, actually put the firmware on the new smart card, and then there's a procedure actually to load it onto the iCharger. There's supposed to be like an application that you can run on your PC. I couldn't find that anymore. It seems like it's unsupported by Gen C, so I just did it through the smart card, and that worked totally fine. You also want to run EC8, on the 4S at least. This is just to provide, a lot more current flow. This is a serious, regenerative discharger, so you definitely want serious wiring. I've got my Donathan RC charging cable, so these are like 10 gauge, super high end. You really want to have all your components be soldered correctly, the right gauge, the right connectors and stuff like that. So anyways, it plugs into your wall just as you would expect, and then you actually plug the iCharger into the regenerative discharger. And you do need to set up this guy. There are instructions that RC Discharger provides, so I actually went through that. You basically have to set it up so that it will regenerate discharge correctly through the cycling function, and not a bad idea to have some sort of temperature gauge. So the whole purpose of this thing is to provide some extra heat, kind of break it in a little bit more, get the crystals and stuff inside the battery nice and flowing current and stuff like that. So that's really kind of what you want to make sure you're going through. And then with any new battery or even a battery you haven't used in a while, they do have instructions on how to break it in. They say it's critical that you do this actually to get proper life out of your battery. Actually, cycling these batteries is good for the batteries. It actually keeps them healthy, keeps the chemistry and stuff flowing current a lot more easily. I think batteries will actually last longer if you use this. So another side benefit of this, I know it sounds like charging a 40 amps is a little crazy for some of you probably out there. And I would say you definitely need to have a high-end battery that will support it. I don't think any battery will actually technically say, yes, do this, that's fine. But the high-end stuff, the good stuff, definitely, you know, people are doing that, and that's what people are you know, using if they're going to go through this method. But anyways, yeah, we're going to break in this brand new Genzace Redline 2.0 battery. It's ready to go, so we'll kind of check the resistance on the battery. That's kind of the area where you can measure that you're actually getting some sort of benefit. My old Genzace Redline 1.0, I had about 3.5 milliohms, or actually higher than that. I think it was like 4 or 5 milliohms at some points. But after, you know, running through the cycling of this a few times, I actually got down to 1.5 milliohms. And with a high quality battery, you should actually be getting lower than that, maybe closer to like 1 milliohm or even below that. So yeah, a good battery, a good regenerative discharger like this, and you can get a lot more performance out of your batteries and make them last a little bit longer. So yeah, setup is, you know, done through this manual. You will definitely want to check that out. Make sure you follow the instructions. Break-in procedure, again, they have a little sheet explaining how to do that. And then once you do that, you're ready to go ahead and start using it.
It's the one and only Digo Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know what happened with the D.R.E. You know the West Coast is back.
Okay, so we're done with the break-in of this brand new 2S LiPo that I was using. It does take a little bit of time, a bit over an hour, so definitely set aside some time at the track, wherever you are, to break in your batteries, because it's not, you know, like a 10-minute process. But I think in the long run, you'll get more out of your battery, it'll last longer, a little bit more punch. Also, it started at about 2.2 milliohms with a brand new pack, you know, charging for the very first time. By the end, it was more in like the 1.3 milliohm range. I think once I actually race this pack on the track and do a couple of cycles at 40 amps, then, you know, I'll get the full benefit. And it should drop to more like in the 1 milliohm range, or even a little bit less. So yeah, that's something important to do. Just take a little bit of time, but I think it's well worth it. Something you want to do with any brand new pack, or even a pack that you haven't used in a while. You can go again through this break-in process. But yeah, anyways, there's a quick look at the RC Discharger Regenerative Discharger. I'll have a link in the description on where you can pick one of these up. If you're curious why people on the track seem to have a faster car than you, even though you got the same motor, same ESC, all that stuff, this is probably a big reason why. You know, it is a bit of an investment with the iCharger and the Discharger, but you put that together, you do have, you know, a pretty compelling and winning combination. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.